We are at the half in Philly. It is 60-56. The Sixers without Paul George, without Joel Embiid, Napes, Rhino in Sacktown, and the birthday boy, Jerry Reynolds. Happy birthday, Jerry.
Well,
Happy birthday.
Well, thank you. Yep, it's always great to get to be 81, I guess.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm right now questioning whether that's going to happen for me, but I'm happy that it's. I'm happy you've achieved that milestone. But you still feel great. You look, Jerry. You look 70. All right. I got it. Yeah, I'm telling you right now. I'm looking. You look 70 on my screen.
Yeah, 81 is the new 75.
Yeah. So listen, Philadelphia played last night. Their starters played a lot of minutes. They don't have Paul George and they don't have Joel Embiid, and they still put 60 on the board, Jerry.
Yeah, disappointing defense. No question that the early zone was very passive. Now, they did do a good job trapping Maxey, making it tougher on him, but boy, they gave up too many easy shots to other guys. I mean, and I think you guys know, I mean, Eric Gordon, for instance, if you leave him open, he's going to make shots. That's what he's done his life.
Jerry, the trap is exactly what I was going to ask you about. Are they blitzing too much?
I think too much on too deep. You know, in other words, they're getting too far, trapping him way too far away from the basket, and then once they throw out of the trap, they can't really cover. You know, if you want to trap him out there right on the line, that's one thing, but they're trapping him probably 10 foot past the 3-point line, and I just think that stretches the defense too far.
De'Aaron Fox, who's obviously been in the news nonstop the last 24 hours, did not score that much. He only had 7 points. He had 3 assists. You want to revisit the comments De'Aaron made, Rhino? Did anything that he say surprise you?
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that De'Aaron commented on the situation. He said that he's not requested a trade, but he does have a team of preference, and
which is a joke.
Which is an expectation that he thinks that he can be moved before the deadline, to paraphrase.
Well, again, that comment to me is just it's just I don't know what else to say. I'm going to just shake my head on that one.
Well, you know, I've talked to a couple of different, you know, podcast, radio.
Yep.
You know, and I would say, I mean, there's nothing about this surprises me, to be honest. Once he switched agents to Rich Paul and Clutch,
yep.
That's their mode of operation. So, you know, I mean, didn't know exactly when we'd find out what the plans are, but they basically, you know, Rich has always kind of controlled the situation, or tried to.
All right, let me ask you, you worked in an era with a super agent in David Falk, right?
Right.
What was it like when you dealt with a guy of, if I can use the term power, because he had a lot of power in the league. He had the big names and Michael Jordan and guys like that. What was it like dealing with someone like that?
Well, it was very difficult, no question about it, because they expected to kind of control the situation, because, as you said, they had, you know, he had a lot of top flight, you know, the Jordans, the Patrick Ewings, Mutombos. I mean, he had a ton of big name guys. And I mean, I think the one thing about David, to some degree, as a big time agent, the player he had that we had to deal with really was Rodney McRae, and then later Bobby Hurley. And but he had realistic expertise in the sense of where they should be. He had no problem them being in Sacramento, and really thought in a lot of ways it was a good situation for them. So he didn't really try to create, them into a Michael Jordan. He understood the difference in talent and what that would bring. So I didn't have any problem with him. I do have some of the problems with some of these big name guys, because they want to control not only their client but the team.
Yeah.
And I don't think they have any right to do that. I think they have every right to do what's best for their client, but when they're starting to infringe on what's best for the team, i.e., say, I might need my guy traded here, as opposed to, hey, he's under contract, whether it's Jimmy Butler or of course De'Aaron or whoever, if you decide to trade him, you got to get the best deal you can wherever that deal is.
So, Jerry, the direct quote from Fox was, I expect the unexpected. I think crazier things have happened in terms of a trade before the deadline. You and I talked yesterday about this being a distraction in the locker room. Now that De'Aaron's addressing it, especially at or after a shoot around, does your opinion change at all on this being a distraction to the other guys?
I think it's a minor distraction. I don't think it is once the ball goes up. I think it's a distraction, after the games and before the games. I think if it's a distraction to Fox. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But I think that his teammates, they know it's a business, and they're all part of the Players Association, and they get all of that. So I guess what I'd say is that once the ball goes up, they play, and I do think there's definitely a distraction attached to it, but it's everything in between.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the game. It's 60-56. Again, Philadelphia played last night. They beat the Lakers. They're shorthanded. I wonder if attrition's going to factor into this second half, Jerry.
Well, it should. It absolutely should, because they're playing shorthanded. I mean, and the Kings are fresh, so we really should see a lot more aggressive defense here in the second half. I mean, I would expect they're going to start picking up a lot more. And, I think other than Maxey, you don't have to give any unusual attention to anyone else. And I would still double him in certain circumstances, but I wouldn't, I'd make some adjustments there. But, we should see this team jump out here in the first 5 or 6 minutes and establish how this game's going to go.
Jerry, outside of Yabusele, the Sixers are small tonight. Doug Christie decided to go big. Would you like to see the Kings play more of a pace game and go small with them, or continue the big style?
Well, I like their starting lineup. Just play your best players as much as you can. But I definitely think you should pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Pick up pressure quicker. The more possessions there are, the faster the game is, the better it is for the Kings.
Yeah, I believe it's 3 games in 4 nights for Philadelphia as well. So thank you for the super chat. Should the Kings front office be taken out to the chicken coop? I don't know about that, but we appreciate your super chat.
The chicken coops. I don't know about the chicken coops, man. As a little kid, I had to pick the eggs up. I hated that because I'd always go out there barefooted and get some mushy stuff between your toes. That wasn't good.
No. Okay, we just went off the rails. No, that's not good, Jerry. That's not good.
Jerry, there are these things called shoes.
Yeah, there are. Yeah, when you're 6, 7 years old, summertime, you don't need shoes. Come on.
Guys, I'm going to talk about this half the way I did a couple of games ago with the Nets. All right, or not a couple of games ago, the last game. This half is gigantic, okay? This is a big half for the Kings, because you have 2 more games left on this road trip, the more difficult of the 2 of the games. At Oklahoma City, they're excellent. At Minnesota, with everything going around this team right now, if you lose this game to a team without Paul George and Joel Embiid, who's playing 3 games in 4 nights, who played last night, I could see this team really going into a tailspin. This is a big half coming up, guys.
Grant, you win this second half, you win this game, you guarantee yourself that you will be 500 coming back to the Golden One Center on this road trip, Jerry.
Yeah, that's the key. Get the win. Get the win. You'd like for it to be a solid win, a solid second half, because to Grant's point, one thing you can almost be guaranteed, you play a half that we just saw against this first half. If you play a half like that against Oklahoma City or Minnesota, you'll lose. It's simple as that. This is the last soft half of defense they're allowed to have.
Jerry, I made a comment during the post-game show of the last game that, I understand why they have the standings. Okay, you win or you lose. But I really don't like the way the Kings are playing right now, and haven't, going all the way back to the Warriors game where I didn't think they played well. I don't really put a lot into the Denver game because of the travel, the tough back-to-back. They got blown out against the Knicks. I didn't think they played particularly well against a bad Nets team with nobody. I don't think the team is playing well right now.
No, I don't either. I mean, really, like you say, let's face it. I mean, certainly the Knicks are a really good team, and they're a better team than the Kings. That's true. They probably had it easier against the Kings than they should have. But
Right.
yeah, they're going to have to play better. And the kind of half we're seeing, even if they'd come out and get the win, you'd be a little concerned because you're not going to beat Oklahoma City and Minnesota
No.
playing the last three halves of basketball that we've seen just isn't good enough. I also believe that they can play a lot better, and I expect to see a lot better half here in the second half, and a lot of it will show up immediately on the defensive end.
So, Jerry, you're picking the Kings to win this game, right? Give me a score.
115, 110.
Okay, Rhino?
Yeah, I'm going to say Kings as well. I'm going to say 113 to 104.
I'm going to say the Kings win on Jerry's birthday, 116 to 109. I was going to pick Philadelphia, but there's no way I can pick the Kings to lose on Jerry's birthday.
Oh,
all right.
No, that's almost blasphemous, really.
That's right. That's right. So, Jerry, enjoy your birthday, and I know you'll enjoy it a lot more if the beam is lit and you get a W.
I must have some beam. I need a little bit of beam tonight, guys.
All right, Jerry. Thank you, bud. Take care.
Guys. Thanks, Jerry. Happy birthday again.
Good stuff right there with the birthday boy joining us here. Rhino, we'll be back in a little more than an hour. Again, I think this is a huge half of basketball because, quite frankly, I think if the Kings lose to Philadelphia, I think they're going to lose their next two games, and that will go down as a horrible road trip.
Spot on, partner. I'd love to see. I think the thing that's been missing is the physicality since the Golden State game. Would love to see a half of physical Kings basketball.
And just to wrap up the Fox stuff, don't tell me that you didn't ask to be traded, but you have a preferred destination. I'm sorry. That doesn't – I got a real problem with that.
Napes, it's the play on words that we've always had. With Mike Brown, I didn't want another coach, but I didn't say don't fire Mike Brown. These days, it's how you play it, buddy, when you got Rich Paul on your side.
Hey, amen. Spot on. Thanks, everyone. We'll talk to you after the game right here on If You Don't Like That. Bye-bye.